Hey YouTube, this is Solar Thought. This is your boy Solar Thought back again with another video to throw out there into the universe. I like to throw stuff out into the universe because I like to see good stuff come back. When you throw good out, good comes back. I wanted to come in today though and talk about some things though that a lot of people are unaware of, or they're aware of it but not aware of it in the way that they should be. We live in a time right now whereas we are being distracted from something that is coming, and it's coming real hard and fast. The distraction is so great that most of our people are unaware of it, and most of the world is unaware of it though. This is a time where the heathen is raging, and they took the scriptures and then mess with them so much they don't even know what's going on, except for that select, very, very select few that really knows what's going on, but has tried to prepare themselves by making spaceships and trying to see what's on Mars and see what's on Neptune to see what they can do to get away from the wrath that's coming to this planet. But if you ain't noticed though, in the last, I guess, 20 years, there's been different type of revolutions all over the planet. You have different nations that's had revolution leading all the way up to, the revolutions that was in Egypt, the revolutions that was, basically in the Middle East. And there's one more revolution that's being left out that a lot of people don't really want to talk about, but it's inevitable though, And, a lot of people get mad and don't want to talk about it because I guess subconsciously, like most people can't see black people, being on top. They can't see black people being successful people in all ventures of their life. And actually, they can't see black people being what you would call, children of God, though. But that's exactly what it is. And this revolution that's coming is the revolution of all revolutions. It's the revolution that we've been waiting on for the last 6,000 years, though. And in particular, for the last 400 and almost 500 years, we've been waiting on this revolution because it's basically overdue. And I think that we have enough people, though. I think we have enough people that, when this revolution does start, that, once it's, said and done, we have enough people that'll come together and we can rebuild, though. Because, like I said, though, before, though, like all of us, we don't get it. You got a lot of us that's still playing, house with the other nations. Not saying that anything's wrong with the other nations, but at the same time, though, we should come first in all things, though, and that's been my thing, though, forever, though, we tend to, marry outside of ourselves, or we tend to date outside of ourselves, and then we forget our own plights. When we do that, we forget what's happening to us. And then once we do marry outside of ourselves or date outside of our race or whatever, then we tend to take on the traits of those races and say, well, what about black people? Basically, what about what's going on with black people? I'm over here, basically is what it is. And if that's how you are, then that's just life, though, and that's just how life has dealt, that hand to you. But there is a revolution that's coming. And that revolution, there are a lot of us, I hate to say awake, because I hear so many black people be like, I'm awake, but they're still, going through the same motions that they've been going through, their life, though. And you're like, what are you awake to, though, But, like I said, there is an element out here of black people that we are conscious of everything that's going on around us. We have arisen from the sleep that we have, been in for the last 6,000 years. And this time it was promised to us long ago, it was promised to us from the Creator, even from the beginning. And in my own philosophy, though, I just feel like that it's been time overdue. I think that we are a people that have been overdue a lot of things in this world, and we have been denied a lot of things in this world based off of the people that we are. If we could have just learned to, get along. Though, if that's the funny thing, we could just learn to get along. But if we could have just learned to get along as a people amongst other people, and those people learn to get along with us, this would have been probably the greatest nation on this earth, though, as far as that aspect, as all the races, had a hand in building this country. White people, black people, Mexicans, we all done built this country in the last, I guess 100 years, if you want to say. But the country was actually built off the backs of black people, though. Like, if you really want to get down to it, this country was built off the backs of black people all the way up until right now to this day. And you know, as the last 100 years though, as the other races started trickling into this country though, then of course then they had a hand in building, you know, their part of the country. But we made this country what it is today, and we've been overdue, well overdue, you know, our share of part of this country for a very, very long time. Now, when they talk about reparations and stuff like that, I agree with reparations. I feel like since slavery, I think, you know, that old thing though, we should have been given the 40 acres and the mule, and you know what I'm saying? I think that we've been overdue that, you know, because we never got that. If we did get that, it was taken away from us. And then, you know, we was right back on the field again, sharecropping. You know what I mean? So slavery started right back over for us again in each instance that we were supposed to be free. And then a lot of us, we just ran back to the plantation because we just didn't know what to do with ourselves after the plantation. But that wasn't our fault. That was something that happened to us. And, you know, it was ingrained in our minds. It was ingrained in our children's minds. And it's still in our DNA today to run back to Massa and be like, hey, look, Master, what can I do to work for you though? That's just something that's deeply ingrained in the subconscious minds of black people, and it's not our fault. And you know, I hear a lot of people calling black people coons and Sambos and Uncle Toms. Well, for the most part, it's not our fault. It's not. You know, they have already done scientific studies to show that, you know, things, stuff like that is trapped in the DNA. It is. It is passed from mother to father. I mean, shall I say, parents to children. It's passed on. And we got it from our mother and father, which got it from their mother and father. Slavery was just 150 years ago. So our great-great-grandmothers and great-great-grandfathers, you know what I'm saying, though, they basically came through the slavery era, which gave birth to our grandmothers, which gave birth to our mothers and fathers, which that's still in our DNA. So, you know, like I said though, when it comes from reparations and things of that nature, we deserve every bit of that, because we are those people that built this country. And there's a lot of people out there, black people included, that just don't get it. They really just don't get it though. They've never taken the time out to take a stand and stand in black people's shoes. You know, if they could just stand in our shoes for one day, like we just step out. We won't say we're gonna step in their shoes. We don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But you know, they just take a step out, and then they just step in our shoes, and we just take a stand back and just let you live our life for one day. Then you will come back and be repentant of all you've done, because for the most part, the world is not repentant for the things that is done to black people. We live in one of the so-called richest, you know what I'm saying, nations on the earth, but at the same time, our money is not worth nothing. But they tell us, you know what I'm saying, though, like, you know, when you go back to the place where we were stolen from, you know, not all of us came from Africa, but, you know, but for the most part, the place that we were stolen from, then that place is supposed to be garbage. But we see all of the nations raping and robbing that continent right now, because it's the richest place on the planet. It by resources and everything else, though, it's the richest place on the continent. And paper money doesn't mean anything. So when I get back to my point, though, when you come back around, you know, there's time for a revolution for black people. And that time is here now. The stars have been shining, showing it. The earth has been groaning and moaning and showing it. And our people, there's enough of us awake now to say, okay, this is a fact. Because I remember back in the 90s when I first came into the knowledge of self, I felt like I was all alone. I feel like I didn't have not nobody in the world to talk to us about. I would go to different people though, you know, and be like, hey, this is this and this and that, and they would be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm a man. I love the scriptures. I will sit down and I will read that Bible, man, day in and day out. I would go to work and read it. I would get off work and read it. And I wouldn't read it like your average Christian, because, you know, I wasn't a Christian though, you know, before I was, but once I had been converted over to, you know, the true knowledge of self, you know, I would read it like I was supposed to read it. And there was so many things that stood out in that book to me it was so crazy to me that, I mean, that, and this was back in the 90s, before there was YouTube, before there was, you know, internet. You know what I'm saying, though? I knew all of these things back then, though, and I had nobody to tell me about it. Now there's YouTube and the internet, and I see all of these videos of, and especially a lot of the youngsters, though, you know, they waking up, and, you know, black people are waking up, and black people are waking. Well, a lot of us have been awake for a long time. We've just been waiting on the rest of us to actually be able to wake up out of the slumber and kick this off. And when I say kick it off, like, there's a mental world, you know, out there that's waiting on us to really recognize it. And once we open our minds to that mental world, then this world will become ours. It will, because all the forces in the universe have always been on our side. We just have neglected those forces. And so when I'm talking about revolution, I mean there's a mental revolution that's going to happen on this planet. And it's happening already with millions and millions of black people. Don't be fooled. You know what I'm saying, though? That little small percentage that's running around here that's still stuck in time, and they still stuck in the, you know, I'm going to live this life until I die. That's a small percentage compared to the you know what I'm saying, though, the many of us who are awake and who are standing here saying, hey, you need to wake up too, because we need as many people that's awake, because this is about to kick off. It said, though, I was talking to my daughter today, and it is a scripture that she referred to, and I agree with her on it. And it said, just as the days of Noah, so shall the days of the coming of the Son of Man be. And in those days, they were marrying and being married and drinking, you know what I'm saying, and getting drunk until the flood overtook them. And I like that passage, though, because I was like, you know what? I said that passage is true, though, because now, though, you know, we be talking about, hey, get your heart right, get your mind right with the Most High, get your mind and your heart right with the Creator, so that you can come up under His wing, and so that you can be protected from all of this, you know, the scourge actually that's coming, you know, because the death and destruction that's coming to this planet is not to be refuted. It's, you know, most people, like, they in denial though right now, because they want to watch TV and they want to become rap stars and basketball stars. But this is actually the time that we need to be in repentance, because there will come a time when there is no more repentance. There is no more, oh, you forgive me of my sins, I'm sorry for what I did. No, that day is over with, it's gone. And all of those who I take with me, you know what I'm saying, meaning all of those I take up under my wing, though, you know, those are the people that are coming with me. But other than that, this world is going to be destroyed and remade over again, just like in the days of Noah. Then it was water, but this time it say the world shall be baptized in fire. And so, you know, like I said, though, the revolution that's coming is a mental revolution for our people to wake up and understand, though, that life is not a joke. It's not a joke. It's too many of us who have died. It's too many of us who have lived this life and died, you know what I'm saying, preaching this knowledge that I'm preaching, for us to still be asleep to what's really going on. And all you got to do is just turn on the TV, or all you got to do is look on the internet and flip on your phone. But most people don't want to do that. Most black people, you know, I'm gonna say the Israelite nation, because that's what we are. The Israelite nation that lives here in America, we don't want to read. We rather be told by other people what's going on in the world, though, you know. But as far as sitting down reading a book, oh no, that's for smart people. That's for people who go to school, you know, or that's for old people, you know, as one of my wife's friends told her, that's for old people. But I just think that, you know, this is the time that, you know, we need to wake up. If we don't wake up, then there's a lot of us that's going to perish. And I don't want to see that, though. You know, I love all my people to death. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, all of them. I will give my life for my people, though, because, you know, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how much love I got for my people. But you got the stubborn, stiff-necked ones, as he called us in Scripture. You know, Israel is stiff-necked, and they hard-headed, basically, and don't want to hear this knowledge. And my people die, and they perish for lack of knowledge. That, you know what I'm saying? That's sitting right there in the Scriptures also. And so, you know, when I say that the revolution is coming, man, I mean, it's here right now. I mean, I want to just say, I want to tell you it's coming physically, because it's been coming mentally for a long time. And that mental world will open up, and then that mental world will open up for those who are ready for it. And that fire from the Most High will come down on those people, and His presence will be known with those people. So it said, one shall chase 1,000, and two shall chase 10,000. You know, all in the day when I come, though, because when I come, the world will bow down and lick the dust of your feet, though, because of your shame and because of your poverty and the things that you went through, and you became a byword in the world, and they stole your nation, and they took you for slavery, and they parted all of your resources. This is sitting right in the Scriptures, though. You know, I like to sit down one day on YouTube and break down a whole bunch of scriptures that it's sitting right in your face there. You know, you can't just sit down in church and say, you know, this is what it's meant in church. Because, I mean, I don't believe in church. I used to believe in church, but once I started finding out that all of those were, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of, you know, crooks, basically, you know, robbing the people, though. Because, I mean, if you go to college, you know what I'm saying, to break this book down, then you should understand that there are things in that book that does not pertain to Christianity. And Christianity is known to be a made-up religion. It's the fact that it's a made-up religion. The slave master brought it and forced it on our people. We wasn't Christians when we came over here. We didn't know anything about being no Christians until we came over here to America. And everyone over here was forced into this religion. And then now we talking about, oh, I'm a Christian because my grandmama was a Christian, or my, you know what I'm saying, my family is a Christian and we go to church. But history tells us that this religion was forced upon our people, and that it was a religion for slavery. It was a slave religion because it bound us to our slave masters by the things that they taught us, just by the New Testament alone. They tell you to stay out of the Old Testament because the Old Testament held so many clues and secrets to who you were that they didn't want you stumbling up on that. And then they tell you, hey, look, if we catch you reading, we're going to cut your hands and your feet off. And most likely you probably be killed because all you're going to do is go tell this knowledge to the rest of them and they're going to rebel. So, you know, back to what I was saying, man, the revolution is here. It's right now. It's happening in our face. And there's many angelic beings that's waiting to be able to assist us in this transition because it's long overdue. You know, we're the only population on this planet that we deserve more, you know, and I'm not saying that there's not others. I hate to use the word minorities because, you know what I'm saying, though, like as far as brown and black people on this planet, we're the majority. We always have been. But, you know, that's that old European thing where we're minorities on the planet, though, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and so everybody uses all of their terminology. But when you add up all the people on the planet and you go to different countries, though, like white people Europeans are the only people that's white on the planet, you know what I mean? And so they are the minority, and they know this. And so, you know, they've gone to different parts of the world and say, okay, well, they're light like us, so we're going to call them European or Caucasian too, though, in order to increase our numbers. But, you know, they don't really have that many numbers, though, on this planet. But they rule with knowledge, and they've ruled with that knowledge that they took and stole through, you know, Alexander the Great. When he went to Egypt, he burned the library. They took all of the books for themselves that they needed to take, and they, you know what I'm saying, and they took it back, and then they burned the rest of the library. And so from then on, they knew that they could control the people, especially the indigenous people of this planet, through, you know what I'm saying, technology, because all of the knowledge, the true knowledge, was lost. And wherever they would go on the planet, they would kill off the indigenous people of that society, take all the knowledge and destroy it and keep that for themselves. So today they rule by that. They rule by the occult. You know, a lot of black people are scared of the occult, but that's the knowledge that we used to know. That's the knowledge that we taught the world. That's the knowledge of how we built all the things on this planet. You could go to Egypt, and then there's pyramids. But then you can go down to South America, then there's pyramids. And then if you go to other parts of Africa, I think like the Sudan, then there's pyramids down there too. And then there's pyramids all over the planet. So then it lets you know, though, that at some point in time, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, that we jumped all over the planet with the same knowledge, and we left that knowledge there. But that knowledge was stolen by people. When that people came in and broke in and trashed the civilization, then they took the knowledge and stole it and killed off the indigenous people of the planet. So it's time for a revolution. It's time for a revolution because we have been massacred. We have been destroyed. And, you know, it's time to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's a taboo subject, you know what I mean? And nobody wants to talk about it. You know, we can talk about everything else except for the atrocities that are done against black people. And black people like, so what now? You know, what do we do now? Like, okay, now we start to pool our resources together. Now we start planting food, though, because they're about to break the economy down. They're going to break the economy down, and you're going to suffer more than you suffered before because you ain't going to have no food to eat. You're going to be running around in the streets wondering why they stopped the food stamps, y'all, and they cut off this supply and that supply of money that they was giving us for government assistance. It ain't no money. It hasn't been no money for a long time. And black people haven't educated themselves on economics or how money works in this country, and to see how this country really has been running off of paper notes, you know what I'm saying, for the longest time. And now the chickens have come home to roost, and now this country has to pay for everything it has done. Everybody knows what comes around goes around. But when it comes to black people, nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to say, like, you know what, it is true, though. These people have been treated for so long, these people have been treated wrong. You know what I'm saying, though? It's time for them to get back what they, you know what I'm saying, how they've been treated. And it's time for us to get back how we treated them. You know what I mean? And, you know, not preaching hatred, because I don't hate nobody. It's a waste of energy to sit up there and hate people. I'm going to tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying, though? Because it's futile. But when you get knowledge yourself and you get all of this knowledge, you be like, man, like all of this knowledge has been hidden from us, you know, and these people continue to, have hatred for no reason. For no reason. You ask the average person, racist, why he hates black people, will tell you, well, he's on food stamps and, they're killing each other. He can't give you an answer, that says, okay, he's done this to me or he's done that to me. So when they say that black people is racist, then you be like, well, tell me why black people are racist. Well, black people are racist because white people are racist. That's the only answer. You can't go around the world and ask a black person he's racist unless he's been done like that himself, though. You can't do it, though, because we've always opened our arms to every race on this planet. And that's why we're in the position that we're in today. We open our arms to every person, every race on this planet, and we got dealt with in the harsh way. And so now we need to understand that now it's us first. It's us first. And the revolution starts with us. It starts with us saying, let's wake up and teach our children this knowledge. Let's stop shying away from the subject. Let's stop putting it on the back burner and watching Empire. Let's stop putting it on the back burner and watching the playoffs and Scandal and all these other stupid shows that come on TV that keeps our mind, wandering off into the universe with mindless entertainment. Because that's all it is. And it's a diversion away from what you're really supposed to be thinking about. They figured if they made the TV, then they could keep your mind away from yourself. That's what they're doing. They're keeping you away from you. Because these days, the sun is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And this is another part of the revolution. The sun is getting hotter, which means it's waking up the DNA that's within your genes. You got a lot of black people who don't even want to be black. So, they bleaching their skin and getting rid of their melanin. But woe for them until the day when the second sun appears. Because there's another sun in this solar system. It's a binary star system is what it is. And these things, though, most black people haven't read about, because they're so busy trying to figure out when Scandal comes back on TV. But this is a binary star system. And the second sun is on its way. And when it does appear in the sky, then what are we going to do? We can't hide in the house. Because just like it says, just as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Meaning, the sun is going to shut down everything on this planet. It's going to get so hot, air conditioners ain't going to work, car motors ain't going to turn over, guns ain't going to work, ain't none of your electronics going to work. So we going back to the days of Noah, where we got to plant food and live by the sun. What are you going to do when it's that time, though? What are you going to do when you can't run around and go to Walmart, or Food Saver or whatever grocery store that you go to and pick up your pack of meat and get you some beans and some rice and put on the stove, because they provided it for you on the shelf. When they shut down everything and say, okay, we ain't selling nothing else, food stamps is gone, government assistance is gone, you on your own. What are we going to do then? And see, these are the things that we need to be talking about because it's right here. It's right here in our face. All you got to do is watch the news. All you got to do is watch the news and you'll see that we are a country that's headed for the dirt. And China is the biggest, money maker of this century coming up. And we going to be following right behind them. One day they're going to take over America. They already have through the products. All you got to do is turn over every product you have in your home. I guarantee you most of it is made in China or India. It's one of the two, but mostly China. So you see, there's a revolution that needs to happen, and it is happening. It's coming. It's here. It's right here and right now. And we need to take heed to it because this revolution that's coming is the revolution of all revolution. It's the revolution to cure hatred, wickedness, and all the other things that have been against black people. It'll cure black people from their wickedness because the sun purifies everything on the planet. You know what I'm saying, though? You can't live without the sun. But the sun, it purifies through its power. It purifies, and that's what the sun is going to do. So when it said that the Son of God shall return, it don't mean Jesus. And for all of those who think Jesus is going to come back here floating on the cloud and out of all of your dirty works that you've done on this planet and say, you come on, go with me, I'll forgive you of your sins. You are in, I'm talking about, you're in deep denial. You have to be in deep denial. I think some man is going to come in on some cloud after you lived a lifetime of wickedness and think he's going to take you back to some place and float off, called a rapture. And he's going to float off in space back to you, and you're going to meet up with your loved ones, and y'all going to sit up under a tree and eat grapes and peaches for the rest of eternity. That ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. The Son of Man is returning. The S-U-N of man is returning. And we are going to go into higher frequencies. We're going to go, our melanin is going to be activated. Our brains are going to be reactivated. And that 10% of brain going to turn into 100% of brain that we use. And we're going to live life the way we were actually created to live life here on this planet. Because that's why they call it the hereafter. We're not floating away in space. We're not going to fly away nowhere with Jesus. Ain't no angels going to come down and pick us up and be like, hey man, we got a place for y'all. Come on back. Nah. It said right here, when you read the scriptures, read the book of Isaiah. I mean, that's one of my favorite books. One of my favorite books is the book of Isaiah. When he breaks down when the kingdom come, that, you know what I'm saying, they'll till the land again. They'll plant trees again, basically. They'll rebuild the old places again. The ancient places, they'll rebuild again. And I'll never leave them again. And they won't need the sun by day or the moon by night. And I'll be their sun and I'll be their moon, says the Lord. Like, that's all in the scriptures. It don't got nothing. None of this has nothing to do with Jesus. The people that made this up, they laughing. They laughed when they left here because they knew that this will last for 2,000 years. And it's been 2,000 years that they made this religion up. And this religion has dumbed down the minds of the people, not just black people, but most of the people on the planet. And you would think that a lot of the people would have waking up by now, though, because it's 2016. But shoot, you got a lot of us who are more asleep than ever. Won't wake up. Won't get up for nothing, slumbering and taking the cover and rolling over and getting out of the bed and going right back to sleep again. But I'm here to tell you that sun is going to activate the DNA of your genes, and it's going to raise you up again, though, to the point and the status. You see, the old Egyptians, they knew this knowledge. They knew, that's why they worshiped the sun. They knew that we produce a chemical in our blood called melanin. We produced it from our pineal glands. They knew this. And so that's why they worshiped the sun. And they knew that one day that this sun would come back again, because they knew we were from the star Sirius. That's why they built the pyramids on the belt of Sirius, because they were tracking the projection of the dog star, Sirius star. This is a little going above and beyond my conversation, but there's a lot of knowledge out there to be learned if you just read and you just wanted to learn it. You know, it ain't just enough to know it. It's enough. You got to live it, too, at the same time. Like, my whole body is enveloped in all of this knowledge. My genes, my DNA, I pass it to my kids. You know what I'm saying? Not just by word of mouth, but it's in them through their DNA, because I've been like this forever. It's been in my mind forever. I live this, you know what I'm saying, though? And I won't turn my back. I won't turn my back on my people, you know? So, you know, back to the revolution, though, you know what I mean, though? That's the revolution that's coming about. And, you know, we got to start planting food. We got to start owning land. We got to do these things, though, because we got to protect ourselves from that big old war that's coming. And it is going to come for us, though, one day. And you can't be in denial. And there will be many of us that will be still in denial on that day when the sword is released, you know what I'm saying, by the angels. You know what I'm saying, though, when they come, you know what I'm saying, to do the job that they come to do for us on this planet and help us out on this planet. That is the revolution, though, and that's to help these people get back into the state that they was actually in before the fall of man, because the fall of man is the fall of the black man, okay? Don't get it twisted. The fall of man is the fall of the black man from his glory, from his first state, where when he was first created, he listened to a few things that he shouldn't have listened to. But, you know, it goes deeper than that, though. You know, even so, some of the ancients say, you know, we put ourselves to sleep. We put ourselves to sleep to show and prove that we were God, or we were the children of God, so that we could wake up in one day and restore all the things back to normal, to its original state. It's basically like we playing a game with ourselves, though, because we were bored and didn't have nothing else to do. We only been in this state of sleep for 6 days. We've been around for billions of years. We've been in this state for 6 days. That's 6,000 years we've been in this state, though. and now it's time to wake up for the 7,000 year, and that's what they call the year of the Christ, where we rule with Christ, though. You know what I mean, though, and that's Christ consciousness. That doesn't mean that Jesus is gonna come back floating on the cloud and say, "Hey, man, you know, I'm back here for y'all." No, it's Christ consciousness. You know, it's the Christ spirit, though. And one day I'm gonna break down the Christ too, though, you know, on another video, though, because, you know, a lot of our people got that twisted too, though, because basically that Christ, you know, he was for that time. He was for that time, and our people back then, they rejected him too. And so that's why, you know, the destruction of Jerusalem happened, though, and all the Israelites in the tribe of Judah ran into Africa, you know, in 70 AD. That's documented. You know what I'm saying? That happened to us, and we haven't been back in our homeland ever since then. So, you know, there's a lot of catching up that we got to do. There's a lot of waking up that we got to do. But we got to come to terms that there's a revolution happening. And this revolution has to include our children. So, you know, it's like me and my wife, we took our children out of school. We took them out of school, and now they're homeschooled. They're not only doing great in school, they're doing fantastic, okay? They're brilliant kids, man. And then they're being taught not only our history, but they're being taught, you know, American history and world history too, though, because we want them to know all aspects of the history that's being told. The lies, of course, along with the truth that there is. So it's a great advantage if you have the resources, you know, and the know-how. Take your kids out of school. Take your kids out of school and you teach your kids yourself. I'm telling you right now, you will be well rewarded if you do. My wife is the most fantastic teacher. I'm talking about she grills them. I'm talking about like none other, man. I come home from work and, you know, they can tell me words I ain't never even heard of. They know the name, the definition. They know how to spell it. They know how to use it in a sentence. And I'm sitting there looking dumb. So, you know, it's a good thing, though, for us to like teach our kids, because nobody else is going to teach them. The school is meant to dumb them down. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to dumb them down. Excuse me. And it starts at an early age. So, you know, when you get the time, look into homeschooling your kids, because this is where it's at. This is a revolution. This is where we wake up and say we won't conform to society no more. This is where we wake up and say we don't need society no more. We need to come together, and we need to pool our resources and come together and do things on our own, though. We need to come together as a community and say, hey, I have this same internal belief that you have, and we ain't full of no crap, though, like a lot of people are that come out here talking about they love black people, but they making all this money and you don't see no results from it. You know what I'm saying, though? But we taking our resources and we pooling our resources together, and we all come together as a community, those of us who want to survive, you know what I'm saying, past the end, and then we come together, pool our resources, and we buy land and we plant food, and we get past this what's coming, though, because it's coming. You know, it's coming, and there's no way to, you know, that you can be in denial about it, because it's sitting in your face every day. You have everybody talking about it. So when that day comes and you're not right with the Most High as far as, you know, mentally and with your works, and you're not right with yourself as far as preparing for this, then you can't blame nobody but yourself. You can't blame nobody but yourself, because there's all of this knowledge out here. You got all of these people out here on YouTube. You got all of these people out here and on the internet telling you, like, hey, man, this is what it is. And black people need to wake up and see what it is. And we need to understand that we need to stop all of this foolishness that we got going on in the world and come together and then clean our minds. I'm almost finished with this video. I just wanted to say, you know, those few things today, because I just think that a lot of people are very, very, very asleep, and they're in the dark with a lot of things. But there are, at the same time, there are a lot of us out here who know what's going on, but we don't know how to come together. And, you know, if there's some people with ideas, though, we just need to start pooling our ideas together.